other hand, that is non-eatable oils. It's like karanja, mahua, and castor seeds cannot be used for consumption, and they can be used in other purposes like they can be used in lubrication, they can be used in medicinal purpose, and so on and so forth. Example here is karanja, mahua, and here about the castor oil. That is also an example of non-edible oil seed crop. Next one is fiber crops. Fiber crops, are the name that suggests fiber crops, which means we are extracting fibers from these crops. Students, fiber crops are basically those crops from which we are extracting any kind of fibers. Now you might have seen, you might have you heard that cotton is extracting from cotton plant. It is not fiber. Some fibers are not synthetically made. We are naturally obtaining from plants. Cotton is basically a plant in which cotton fiber grow, and we are extracting this fiber from, further we are processing into to make cotton fabric. Okay, these crops which are used for extracting the fiber purpose are known as fiber crops. Next, best example of fiber crop is cotton crop and jute crop. Students, jute is another fiber crop which is used for ropes, making ropes, bags, bags made up of jute. You might have seen jute bags. All these crops which used for making fibers, ropes, paper, they are called as fiber crops. Now, based on base part of the plant, we are using for extracting fiber. Fiber plants are further classified into food fiber. Very first is fruit fiber. As the name suggests, fruit of any plant extracting fiber, that comes under the category of fruit fibers. Example is cotton, silk cotton. You can cotton fruit, cotton ball. Okay, this is a cotton fruit which generates fibers, which produces this fiber, and this fiber is extracted by us. This is the fiber that we are used, as it is produced by the fruit of the cotton plant. That is why it falls under the category of fruit fiber. Next next category is stem, stalk, or bast fibers. As the name suggests, fiber extracts from the stem and stalk of the plant. Stem, bark, bark of the plant. Okay, such crops category kept under the category of bast fiber, stalk, or stem fibers. Jute. In jute is an example. Other plants not in stem of the jute is bark of the jute extractor will taken out, and it is used for making for fibers. Clear? That falls under the, that is why jute falls under the category of stem or stalk or bast fibers. Next, least category, that is leaf or hard fibers. Uh, Students, there are few crops, leaves of the which can be used for making the fiber, and this fiber also called as leaf fiber or hard fiber. Example of this crop is sisal, Manila hemp. You can see the picture also. Here, person is taking out the fibers from the leaf of the crop, and these fiber is processed for making other things. That's why it's called leaf fiber or hard fibers. Okay, I hope you understand this topic. Next step is crops. Basically, crops from which sugars and starch are produced. These are called as sugar crops. Example, glucose. Glucose is a form of carbohydrate, right? There are few crops which are rich in sugars and starch. Carbohydrate from which sugar can you obtain it. For example, sugar cane and sugar beets. These both crops can be used for the extraction of sugars. That is why they are falls under the category. Sugarcane is basically used for extraction of sugars, and in other countries, sugar beet is also used for the extraction of sugars. Next, we have is commercial crops. You can recall the term commercial. I have already discussed it when we are discussing the definition of crop. There I explained if any crop is grown for commercial purpose means the farmer is not fulfilling their requirement but also selling their that crop for have some economic benefit revenue. Okay, that is the meaning of the commercial crops. For that purpose are known as commercial crops. We here basically these crops have 75 percentage of the product is for trade and not for home consumption. Home consumption. Examples for this sugarcane is taken up by the farmers for sugar mills. Example, another one is cotton. It is taken by the farmers through the factories for the further processing and making of fibers. These crops are known as commercial crops. Another example is your coffee, tea, tobacco. These are all the commercial crops which are grown under very large scale, and more than 75 percentage of this commercial crops is taken for the trade purpose, not for home consumption. I hope it is clear what is commercial crop. Next one is forage crops. That is called forage crops. Farmers also have livestock because animal husbandry is also a part of agriculture that we have discussed in the very first chapter. Now, to feed these livestock, the farmers need fodder. Farmers need grasses. Farmers need vegetative material to feed its livestock. So, for that purpose, there are few crops that are surely shown for this purposes that is known as fodder crops. Now,